Hey everyone, my name is Ford from NorCal Thrills, and today I'm bringing you an update from Six Flags Discovery Kingdom for December 4th, 2022. This update features coverage of Holiday in the Park, Discovery Kingdom's Christmas event, and this year brings us the same mix of lights and rides we know and love. But that's not all we have. There's also some interesting developments around some closed rides and plenty of other smaller updates. Let's get going. Of course, we have to start with Holiday in the Park. Let's walk around the park in a clockwise direction and talk about what the event brought us, starting with themed areas. The park entrance plaza was named Merry Plaza, and it features the same massive Christmas tree that's featured in years past. And like years past, the tree is lit in a ceremony every night. The Kingdom Traders store has become a cookie decorating room where you can make and eat your own treats. Out front of that store are fire pits to roast your own s'mores over. Going left from Merry Plaza brings us to Twinkling Twee Forest. Like you'd expect, all of the trees in this area are lit up. You can also find some costume characters along the path. Moving onward, we come to Toyland. This area features some massive toys, in addition to more costume characters and photo opportunities. Also of note in this area, one of the former ice cream stands has become the Yuletide Cafe, which serves an interesting array of soups and desserts. The smallest area in the park is definitely Winter Wonder Lane, which has some classic Christmas decorations placed in front of the shark exhibit. After that, you get to Celebration Station, which features signs celebrating all of the holidays that are celebrated around the world at this time of year. In the landing under the former Toyota Stadium is Holiday Market. Normally you can find some artisan booths here, although there weren't any this weekend due to the rain. But there is a booth to meet and take your picture with Santa in the area. And finally, we get to Candy Cane Lane, which features the massive candy canes and red and white striped lights you might expect. And of course, Holiday in the Park means the return of the themed animal shows that Discovery Kingdom is famous for. This year brings us A Very Merry Christmas at Sea Lion Stadium, which I unfortunately missed, and Dolphin Harbor at Toyota Stadium, which I did catch. It was a lot of fun and told the story of how the dolphins helped to decorate a tree for Christmas. And unlike the Halloween show, this show had a storyline which added a lot to the experience. The dolphins were as magnificent as ever, of course. This year also sees the advent of new rides, or ride re-themes and renames for the holiday. For this event, both Monkey Business and Thrilla Gorilla became Peppermint Twirl and Sugar Plum Spin, respectively. Both were enclosed with Christmas music and lights, as was Reindeer Race, the bumper cars. Winter Whirl is Wave Swinger with a new wintry name. Though my favorite was Penguin Plunge. Unlike closing down Monsoon Falls in the winter, like the park normally does, this year they added some penguins to it and ran it all day. The crazy part was, I saw people riding it on a cold day. That'll finish up our coverage of the event. Even though I went on a rainy day, I still very much enjoyed the festivities that the park put on. The lights are pretty, the shows are as great as ever, and the rides add a little something extra to keep the event interesting. Continuing on to ride plot redevelopment, which is a thread we've been watching for a few months now, we have seen some new developments. First, let's take a look at Flash. In front, we can see the same sign we've seen for a couple months, but if we look around the side, we can see the train in pieces laid out on the ground near the ride. Hopefully, this means that they're getting ready to put the ride back together in time for next summer. Moving on to the former Pacific Rim Motion Theater, the sign at the ride building is gone. I assume that's just because it was used for Fright Fest in October, but I'll keep my eye out to see if anything changes in the future. The Tasmanian Devil site has a section or two of fence removed. Nothing too interesting to see behind it, just dirt, but it's something different. Nothing else much has changed around that site. And finally, and most excitingly, the former Hammerhead Shark site is totally different. The metal ride platform is completely gone and paved over with black concrete. And the former queue that was torn up and replaced with grayish concrete last month has been repaved with a better fitting red concrete. There's no indication of any rides taking its place immediately, and I don't see it happening for a while, but as always, I'll let you know if anything changes. And let's wrap up this update how we usually do, with some miscellaneous changes from around the park. The butterfly exhibit was closed for the winter and looks to stay that way until spring. The former Kickin' Chicken location was closed and converted to Seaport Sweets. This stand sells ice cream, churros, and other treats. There was a lot of signage up throughout the park for a variety of upcharge animal experiences. Seems like this is something the park is really pushing. There were plenty of remnants of Fright Fest still up, from the former VIP area, to the Dead Man's Party stage, to signage. Most significantly, Tava's Jungle Land is still blocked off, and props can be seen throughout. I hope to see this kids area open again, and I assume that it will be for the busier summer season, but we'll wait and see what happens. Today was a total rainout. On the downside, I ended up getting soaked, but on the plus side, the lines for the rides were about as short as I've ever seen. And that'll wrap up our update for this visit. In this update, we talked about Holiday in the Park, some ride site redevelopment, and plenty of other smaller updates. Holiday in the Park is as wonderful as ever and always puts me in the holiday mood. Definitely check it out if you can this year before it ends at the end of the year. Our next update for Discovery Kingdom will be in January.